What everyone's talking about is comparing countries to each other. I've only been to 2 countries. Indonesia and Philippines. How would I compare them? Food. Indonesia's food's more wholesome. It just has more flavor, it just feels better. I like the Korean food in Philippines. Apart from that, and the taxilog. But apart from that, and pork adobo and rice is really good. You won't get pork in Indonesia. That leads on to rum. Well, the drinking is much better in the Philippines because Indonesia is a Muslim country. But you can get cold beer there, and you can go to a supermarket in some luxurious shopping center and in the basement buy vodka. But it pales in comparison to the Philippines, where in the grocery store you can buy brandy. The people in Indonesia are more polite, more reserved, more extrovert in the Philippines. They'll scam you in the Philippines. Indonesians won't. It's a Muslim nature by and large. You can get blackmailed in Indonesia, but you can't get blackmailed anywhere anyway. So usually involving women. Well, that's about it, I guess. Transport. Are there any trains in the Philippines? Well, I don't think so. In Indonesia, you can get a train all the way through Java. Indonesia is better. Bus service seems to be better. Grab's the same in both countries. Taxi drivers, tourists don't trust in any country. They don't trust in the Philippines. Might have to use them sometimes, but they expect to pay 2 or 3 times more than the local price. They may not pay that, but that's what they expect to pay. So taxi drivers no go in the Philippines. Even though you can, I had a long distance drive with a taxi driver, great guy, and he told me about the difficulties he had encountered. Competition with Grab. But, you know, Grab's a set price and it works. The layout, well, you've got islands in Indonesia, I guess, but there's plenty to see in Java. And maybe there's plenty to see in Luzon too. But there seems to be more flights happening from island to island in the Philippines. So, but they don't seem expensive flights. Accommodation, Philippines is much more expensive overall. Indonesia, you can get beach resorts cheaper than, much cheaper than in the Philippines. The women, well, much easier to hook up with an Indonesian woman than a Filipino woman, really. The sex industry is more structured in Indonesia, even though it's much smaller, it's more structured. You can go to a place and you know what you're getting, but they don't have that in the Philippines. It's sort of freelance. There's more beauty in the Philippines. In terms of the women, they're more revealing because the Muslim women are covered. But I think you can get what you want more easily in Indonesia than in the Philippines, but I'm not a player these days. The people, I don't know, you just get scammed in the Philippines. And you get beggars every day. in Manila, probably not the provinces, but every day in Manila one hawkers every day. It's not like that in Jakarta. Not like that at all. The poverty level seems to be higher in the Philippines, believe it or not. The ability to communicate, Filipinos can speak English, but if they want to communicate with you or not, it's another story. They may not be that inclined to. There can be suspicious people. But if you strike up a friendship with an Indonesian person, it's pretty good. You can talk about anything. So I don't really know Filipino people that well. You can talk fluently and freely with the more younger ones, the hipper ones, about their personal life and their life. And that communication overall would be better, much better in the Philippines and much easier. Even on a street level, you can talk to some guy in a cab on the side of the road or sit down and have a chat. That won't happen in Indonesia. If talking's your thing, it's just going to be broken English. Sometimes a driver may know English or something. Shopping? Both have 7-Eleven. Both have supermarkets and plazas. Jakarta, Indonesia, they have a swimming pool on top of their plaza and a cinema in the plaza. I never saw that at Robinson's here. So I think the shopping centre and the plazas are better in Indonesia. Plus I've smoked inside plazas in Indonesia. You wouldn't be able to do that in Philippines. Well, love, popularity, well, Philippines is much more popular. Has a bigger reputation as a tourist destination than Java. But that being said, these days in Manila there's not many tourists, they all go to the islands. And then they all flock together. It's a bit like the Bali syndrome, I think, that the Western tourist seeks a popular beach resort to party with other tourists. Integration into the culture. Well, in the Philippines it's pretty total. If you fall in love with a woman, you can hook up with her family and integrate into a barangay and have kids or whatever. That's not uncommon. In Indonesia that would be highly uncommon because you'd have to become a Muslim to marry. But that being said, there are men who do that. How to rate the countries overall for comfort level? I'd give it to Indonesia. Per dollar, per comfort level, Indonesia. Food. I'd go with Indonesia. It's just more wholesome and there's an abundance of cheaper restaurants that looks really healthy food. The cheaper restaurants from what I've seen in the Philippines, the food looks terrible. And the fast food, most of it's pretty terrible too. I've been to Burger King and McDonald's and it's nothing compared to the Burger King and McDonald's, even in China, where they serve decent burgers in Burger King, but the Burger King here is absolute rubbish. The nightlife? Well, where I am, there's nightlife all night. So, Philippines. But for chilling and hanging out with the locals, for a nightlife, you know, it's Indonesia. for clubbing and bars, it's Philippines. The Wi-Fi, similar in both countries. It goes down at times in both countries. The speed is pretty good. It's not bad. It depends if you have a good service provider or not. You know, I've stayed in a hotel where I've had really good Wi-Fi in Indonesia. I've stayed in hotels with terrible Wi-Fi. So it's pretty similar, really. The airports. Philippine airport is nothing special. Indonesian airport looks like a proper airport. It's a nice airport. And plus you've got an easy entry into Jakarta from the airport by train. But no, the Philippines, they haven't got their transportation system sorted out, in my opinion. Yeah. Which is just a nicer place to be overall, for peace of mind. Indonesia is more relaxed, quieter, and it's got more spaciousness. Which country would I spend more time in? Philippines. Because of visa. Indonesia will let you stay 2 months and you've got to get out. Well, I've already been three and a half months in Philippines and can extend my visa again for 6 months. So Philippines are more accepting of the Westerner on that level, definitely hands down. No, I mean Philippines are definitely more accepting of the Westerner on that level, hands down, 100,000, 10,000%. And that's why overall Philippines comes out the winner, because they got a great visa system. Everyone speaks English. There's a lot of beautiful women if you want to freelance and put the work into it and spend the money on that and get scammed and avoid getting sick, I guess. And cleanliness, well, don't really know. 50-50 the same, I guess, overall. Yeah, the scenic beauty is exactly the same. Yeah. Apart from the Philippines has better beaches, I guess. But there's probably lots of undiscovered beaches in Indonesia too. Where are you more likely to feel lonely? Well, Indonesia, because there's less tourism, which is a happier place. Philippines, people are much more happy, which is a more expressive place. Philippines, which is a younger place. Philippines. Yeah, the Muslim culture represses so much the youth and its people, which is why heavy metal is so popular in Indonesia. The music scene in Philippines is much better, much better. Like you've got Gigi Delana, for example. I don't know, Indonesian pop stars, nothing comparable. The best band I saw coming from Indonesia was a heavy metal band. Where are you likely to go? Well, you'll probably go to Thailand and get stoned. Okay, thanks for listening. It's amazing.